Welcome back to the Foul Line. I'm your host as usual, Connor Black. With me as always, Wyatt Hull.
Yo.
With me as always is Nicholas. And just jumping right into things, nobody is happier what happened last night than this guy right here. Congratulations to the Boston Celtics on becoming NBA champions for the first time since 2008. Wyatt, what do you have to say?
I almost cried.
I understand. I'm not gonna lie. OKC won a ring. I'd probably cry. I'd sit at my TV watching old Russ and Katie highlights crying.
Yeah.
All I could think about was Marcus Smart and Rob. Because without those two dudes being on our team, we wouldn't have gotten Drew Holiday or Kristaps.
Yep. I mean, honestly, you can go all the way back to, 2018. You get rid of IT for Kyrie. Kyrie leaves. All this happens. Kyrie then ends up on the Mavs, plays them in the finals, like a full circle moment.
Kyrie crumbles.
I mean, just to kind of touch on the finals games and kind of, because we had our last podcast was on with Brandon, and the finals hadn't even started yet. So let's just talk. So game one, obviously Celtics won. Not really much to say. Luka was basically for the first two games. It was Luka only for the Mavs for the most part, besides Derek Lively. It was the Luka Doncic show for the Mavs. Obviously on the other side, it was a whole lot of Jaylen Brown and Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
Shout out the Celtics bench. I think that was their biggest piece in this series.
Shout out the Celtics bigs too.
Shout out to Biggs, shutting down D Lively. Not even shutting down D Lively really, but shutting down Gafford. Gafford was almost non-existent in this series.
Dallas had been cooking the last two series against us, against Timberwolves, and then they got shut down.
Gafford was basically a no-show in the finals. Like I said, game 1 and 2 was really Luka, Jaylen, and Drew plus the Celtics bench. The Celtics bench, like I said, without them, they wouldn't be where they're at right now. Like guys like Peyton Pritchard, Luke Cornett, all those guys off the bench. Xavier Tillman hit a big clutch 3 in game 3. Speaking of game 3, I was there. First NBA Finals appearance for the Foul Line, part of the Foul Line.
Yeah.
Got some interviews coming out with that. But yeah, it was definitely an experience. Definitely something I'll never forget. Like the energy when they started making the comeback was literally insane. Seeing Dirk and all them there was definitely crazy.
So tough.
Dirk, Steve Nash, like the whole 11 Mavs team was there. Tyson Chandler, Sean Marion, all those guys. Caron Butler. It was all just vibing out and they're sweet. And I was like, man, they really just like me.
Really just like me.
But game 3 looked like Mavs were going to take that one. They were up 1 going into halftime. Sold it in the second half, then made a good comeback. Kyrie thought it was 2016 again, and he tried to hit a fadeaway 3 over Al Horford. Misses it. Game's over. Jason Tatum showed up in game 3. I'm pretty sure he put up 35, I believe. I know Kyrie put up 36. Luka fouls out with 4 minutes left in the fourth.
Luka was one of the main reasons they lost that one.
I mean, Luka still put up 28 points.
I mean, you can't foul out.
Well, no, you can't. I mean, that's definitely. But I'm saying, up to that point, him and Kyrie, obviously game 1 and 2, Luka was the only one doing anything for the Mavs, and game 3 was just Luka and Kyrie. Like
But I mean, the thing was, like, Luka and Kyrie had been doing decent and good in the playoffs so far. Like, the biggest thing about Dallas, the reason Dallas was cooking everybody is because their bench and their big men lineup all around, starting and bench, was cooking. They were cooking everybody. And so they met the Celtics, and the Celtics were doing the exact same thing, except more efficiently. So, I mean, I think it's just everybody else got shut down, and then Luka and Kyrie's too old to do this by himself or take the weight anymore, I think.
Yeah.
He got 1 or 2 games. He showed up. He had 1 game.
Yeah.
And then Luka just, I feel like it's the first time Luka played great. He played good. It's the first time all lights have been off of Luka and on the opposing team.
Yeah, I also think the Mavs are in the same exact place that the Celtics were in 2022 when they lost to the Warriors.
Yeah.
This is going to be a crazy learning experience for Luka. I went back and watched some of the bubble highlights from 2020 when they were playing against the Clippers, and looks like a whole different player. That Luka was arguably he's still arguably one of the best players in the league, but like that Luka was like different.
He was impressive.
He was different.
How do you do it?
He was in shape. I'm not saying he's out of shape. I think he's gained a lot of muscle, but I also think
He's also a dad now. Like,
also
just,
a dad. He got that
happen.
dad bod.
Things happen. Like, just when you become a dad, you gain a little bit of weight usually.
But yeah, Luka in 2020, 2021, that Luka was different. That Luka that played that beat the Suns by damn near 60. That Luka was different.
For me, I didn't realize this until I think I was pulling in a second ago. But also, what's most impressive about the Celtics and all that is that I know Kristaps wasn't injured the whole series, but like throughout the whole playoffs, he was game on, possible game off, game off, game on, game on, game on, maybe game off, and they still just casually not just won. I thought they might win, but they just cruised through almost everything they played.
Oh yeah, they
just cruised.
They didn't.
Like
I don't know why they really did need Kristaps. Like
Like-
regular season, obviously Kristaps played majority of the regular season besides I want to say 25 games.
Right.
But through the playoffs, he played 4 games, I think.
Yeah, it was
And
off.
they still were dominant without him. Shout out him for having a whole 5 points in Game 5.
Yeah. Shout out to boy JB.
Shout out Jaylen Brown, Finals MVP. So Wyatt, how do you feel about Jason Tatum not winning the Finals MVP, and how does that look going forward in his career? Bias aside.
I think it could have gone either way. Tatum's the first player in NBA history to lead his team in all 3 major stats and not win it. But I can also see why Jaylen Brown won it, because in crunch time, he was the one leading us down the stretch. So I don't think it looks bad on Jason Tatum just because he didn't win it. He still put up 35 in the winning game.
Yep.
Had over 10 assists with, I don't think, any turnovers. He still played great. Yeah, the first 2 games he did not shoot the ball well, but he did everything else phenomenally. So I don't think it really changes anything. He's going to get one eventually.
Yeah, so Nick, going back to your earlier statements in the Brandon episode,
That's what I was thinking about,
you
yeah.
still stayed on that same statement that this will be the last, that this will be the only time that, so you said you said whoever wins is going to be the only one that they win.
So I was thinking, so whoever won this one, I think they're only one. The fact that Luka didn't win it worries me a little bit. I really thought Luka was going to get one right now and probably close to a 2 or 3 more in the next 8 years.
Yeah.
The fact that he didn't get one now worries me if he's going to be one of those situations where he takes 6-7 years to get there, wins 1, maybe 2, doesn't win anymore. He's a great player, one of the best players of all time. For Jason Tatum, I could see him winning another one because I can see the Celtics being one of those teams that want multiple, and they want to be known as that team of this century, of this decade.
Yeah.
They have the young core, they got the backup, they got the Derek White, the Tillman, they got everything. They're the Thunder of the East, is what I was thinking about basically. They're the Thunder of the East. They got everything they need. All-stars that are good right now, everything. I think if they want to, they might be able to go get 3, but I think it's also setting up to one of those things where I think the West is going to be out for blood. Like, not just for the East specifically, but for each other. Like, the battles this year was crazy. Such good matchups, such good battles, and we didn't even get to see Shea versus Ant yet.
Yeah.
Like, and
That's
then
gonna
we
be
go,
the
like,
next couple
we didn't even
years.
see him. And then I think so. Could Jason Tatum get another one? Yeah. Honestly, yeah. I can see him getting possibly 2 more, and then being this team being a whole Paul Pierce. That
make runs over and over again.
The old Celtics again.
Yeah, like I said, the only thing that worries me about Celtics' future is just they really don't have one.
That's what I'm worried about.
Drew Holiday, I was wrong. He's actually 34. He's not 32.
I think if they lose 1 or 2 key players, I think
Well, this is what I see.
crumble.
Jason Tatum's eligible for an extension this summer, eligible for a 5-year extension. You spent the money on Jaylen Brown. It worked out in the end.
Right.
You won the championship, got the Finals MVP.
Get some money back.
Yeah, you got your money back on that one. But in reality, you don't get your money back, and you still have to give Jason Tatum his supermax. You're gonna have to extend Derek White.
See, that's what I was gonna say. I feel like the one you're worried about losing is Derek White.
Yeah, because he's gonna get a bag when it's time for him to get it. I'm pretty sure his extension is this summer. He's gonna get a bag. I don't know if the Celtics. I'm not sure how much cap space they have, but I'm gonna assume not a lot based off if Jaylen Brown's contract kicks in this summer. So that really screws them. Obviously, they have to extend Jason Tatum, but I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, extend Derek White. You're losing Al Horford. He's probably going to retire, so that contract, like he only has 1 year left anyways. So that goes away. Then you still are probably. You already extended Kristaps. You already extended Drew. You extended Drew for 4
I think
years.
they extended so many of their starters / main guys that they're gonna have to start doing something crazy to make it work.
Yeah, because obviously they got that. I mean, they did it for a reason.
Yeah.
It was a win now situation, and it paid off. They got what they
They
wanted.
won now. They might win.
The bad thing, like I said, that worries me is the no future because they have the 30th pick, and I'm pretty sure they have the 55th pick, 55th pick, and those aren't like great picks to have in a draft, like especially this week of a draft. Not even a weak draft, it's not like a top-heavy draft.
That's what I was thinking about. Is that exactly like their future in general? Like they don't have a bunch of young guys. They don't have a bunch of picks like us. I'm not saying they're an old team.
No.
But they do have a few older
aging
guys.
players,
There's got people getting out of their prime and like in their top of their prime.
Yeah.
And you got other teams like the Pacers and the Knicks who are all young.
Yeah, because Kristaps is, I'm pretty sure 30. I'm pretty sure he's 30.
You got the Heat who, if they can meet the Celtics with completely healthy, and honestly, I hate to say it, but possibly another year All-Star.
Yeah.
That's a 7-game series, and he could take. Like it's set up to where there's so many possibilities that I'm worried the Celtics are they're too old.
Too top heavy.
And too top heavy with their.
I mean, their bench is
Five or
great. Don't get me
six.
wrong, their bench is great, but those guys are gonna want more money. That's why they're in the NBA.
Yeah,
They're in the
exactly.
NBA to compete. They're in the NBA to move up from those spots. Like, I doubt Peyton Pritchard wants to be a minimum guy every single year of his career. Like, he's gonna get the opportunity to go play. He's gonna be like a Bruce Brown, where he gets the opportunity to go get more minutes on maybe not as a great team, but he's gonna get it
It's getting to
back.
the point where everybody's starting to contend almost. Not everybody's starting to contend for a championship, but you got all teams.
But everybody can take for a playing spot.
Like,
Even
even teams like Charlotte right now,
Yeah.
they're not gonna go play nowhere like good, but somewhere like Charlotte, they can go play 25 minutes a night.
Yeah, like
I said it years ago, and you, Tate, Wyatt, you disagreed with me. I said Peyton Pritchard has a spot in the NBA off the Celtics where he could be a starter or even a key player.
starter. He could be a starter.
Yeah, I think he could be.
I don't think he'd be a starter.
I think he could
Not on a. I think he could be
A key starter? No. Maybe on
That's what I
a
was
trash
saying.
team.
I was gonna say like a trash team, like
Sure.
Pistons. He could be a starter, like.
But
depending on
I
injuries.
said he definitely has a spot in the NBA.
But I've never taken down a spot in the NBA. I said he can never be a starter and a key player. I'm a key player in the starting role. If you put him, he's not going to start on any contending team in the East or the West.
Right.
A contending team. I'm saying that's probably like 6 seed and up out of the play-in as a contending team. He's not starting on any of those teams on either side, but off the bench, sure. I mean, any team can use a role player who hustles and obviously fucking hits half-court shots like it's nothing.
Someone who I've been talking about all year that no one talks about enough, Sam Mauser, he's going to get a good amount of money for the amount of offensive efficiency he has.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, the Celtics are not going to be able to afford all these guys at the end of the day.
See, that's what I was talking about with my dad. Is like that's what sucks. Is the Celtics have a good organization in a different sense than the Thunder do right now. The Thunder have a great young core. We got a great GM and a great offense.
They have a win-now team.
They have a win-now team, but there's also a culture around Boston. Not even for basketball, but for sports. Like, there's people like you're just destined to do good. You got people who like come in out of being nothing, who come to get guys. Isaiah Thomas comes in and drops 62 the night after his sister dies. And then all of a sudden he drops, he's gone.
Boston's the place to win.
You got Kevin Garnett, like it's just, that's what I think is Boston has been that team that builds players to be all time.
Yeah.
Since the beginning, since the beginning, it's just cool that our generation, like our age directly, kind of forgot that. Like our parents got to see the great Boston. Like we got to see a good Boston. We haven't seen a
we
dominant Boston yet.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I get the whole, city of, I wouldn't say city.
Even at Lakers, though, like a dominant.
Yeah, I mean, I would say city of champions because it's like I said, it's been 16 years since they won a ring.
That's what I mean. That's what I would say.
I would say city of
a long time.
Yeah, I mean,
Boston, the city itself is the city of champions.
But if I'm saying we're just solely talking about the Celtics, then no. No. Obviously, if you put all the team in Boston and the state of Massachusetts, then sure.
Oh, so that's my point. Like for us especially, like as far as we know, Boston Celtics, they're not a championship
Exactly.
team. They're a good team, but they're not a championship team. As far as our parents and like old heads know, Boston's a championship team. It's like it's cool to see a championship team like that go and get them.
Boston has the potential to run it back.
Yeah.
Not as the Nuggets did this year.
Yeah.
They didn't. I mean, it's the thing about the NBA in the past. Let me think. So, the thing about the NBA is since 2022 when the Warriors won it, is it's anybody's trophy.
It's so good.
It's anybody's trophy. Like there's not.
It's been anybody's trophy since the Warriors and Cavs ended. Since that ended, it was anybody's trophy.
Yeah, but I'm saying but I'm saying everybody after that, like everybody kind of was like,
It was like 4 or 5.
yeah, like now
Right,
anybody
now
from 1 through 8 could make a run for a championship. Back in 2020, so I mean you can start in like okay the year after the Raptors won, but guess what? The Warriors were still there.
Yeah.
The Warriors still in the championship. The year after that, the Lakers. I mean, nobody thought the Heat was going to make it, but I mean the Lakers wasn't very surprising. And then the next year, you have the Bucks and the Suns. The Suns were a little surprising. They shouldn't have been, but the Bucks wasn't very surprising. Giannis was Giannis that year. I mean, dude was, yeah.
To the Greek freak.
2022, nobody expected the Warriors.
Dude, I was looking at this stuff here recently because like I've been on Instagram, but I've been scrolling and seeing all the comments and like things, man. I forgot, like completely forgot the Warriors won it in 2022.
Yeah, I be forgetting too. I'm not gonna lie.
With Andrew Wiggins? Andrew Wiggins got a championship in Westbrook, doesn't it? Like it's crazy.
Like Ibaka got one. But no, I think the Celtics definitely have the potential to run it back, just as the Nuggets did this year. I mean, Nuggets were one of my picks to run it back and win it. And the Celtics will definitely be one of my picks to run it back next year. I mean, they have all the pieces to do it, but I still have my doubts about. I mean, Kristaps missed 25 games in the regular season. He missed majority of the playoffs. Drew Holiday's still aging. I'm not saying he's slowing down anytime soon, but you just extend him for 4 years. Like, to bet on a 3-and-D guy for the next 4 years and then not think he's going to slow down.
Especially at 34, 35 years
is a
old.
little iffy.
He's not LeBron James.
Yeah, like longevity in that position isn't great.
Yeah.
It would just suck to see Drew like just start to just sit.
Yeah, he just kind of loses his
like tempo.
Yeah.
But I think the Celtics, like I said, if they run it back and win it again, there's no surprise.
Yeah, it would be awesome.
I think the East. I think the East again next year, fully healthy. If everybody's fully healthy, there's no telling who's going to end up in the finals again next year. It's just some truth. I mean, especially with the offseason coming up, there's a lot of names floating around everywhere. Names floating around from Paul George to James Harden to Russell Westbrook to Klay Thompson to literally every free agent this summer.
It's a big summer.
Oh yeah, this summer could decide a lot. I mean,
Klay Thompson's gone.
That's not
like I said.
Oh yeah, he's 100% gone.
Like that's something we gotta talk about.
Yeah,
what?
Unfollows the Warriors, deletes all his posts from every championship won. The only pictures he has of a championship trophy is
Curry.
No, he deleted all those too. The only picture that he has of a championship trophy is him sitting at a coffee table and the championship trophy sitting in front of him at the table. That's the only picture he has.
So that's my question though. Like Klay is a splash product. He will go down as one of the best shooters of all time.
Yep.
He's part of the Golden State Warriors.
4 rings.
4 rings. Like, you know,
crazy two-way.
Whatever anybody wants to say, he's gonna go down. He should go down as top 5 shooting guard, arguably.
Potentially. Arguably.
Like because of his stats and his record. I don't necessarily know if I agree with
it's
that.
Arguable. You can argue it.
But here's the thing: it's been
argue everything.
two years. Been 2 years since he had a Klay season though. 3 maybe.
I'd say since the year after he came back from injury, he was vintage Klay Thompson.
Like, you gotta give him a good year the year they won it.
Yeah. 2022, crazy. Last year, it was a slow start. He picked it up around All-Star break. Through their little run, he was decent. This year was kind of like
right?
this year was kind of like a what is Clay? What's going? My thing is, what is going on in the Warriors organization
That's
for
what
him
I'm
to
about
be this unhappy, for him to
It's like I don't
not
know,
want to be
I don't
there?
know, like many other places he fits. Like there's some places I like.
Orlando.
It's Clay. He could fit. Yeah, I mean he wants.
Okay, see off the
He wants. I was
bench.
going to say he wants to win now. I feel like with his last few years. I
I
feel
feel
like
like he just wants to make money.
there's a few
He's got
teams. There's a few
rings.
teams that could really do something with him. Like I feel like the Heat. They need a guard. They not
And
a guard, but they need
Clay
like.
has that
they need
good
scoring.
Heat
They need
mentality.
something.
He has that
Okay,
mentality
see,
of a bit of
If he wants to come off the bench for us,
That's what I'm saying. I mean, think about
We can
and
even
Isaiah Joe
we can
coming
even
off the bench.
bump
I
him.
don't
We
think
can even
he
bump
would
him.
take a bench spot.
Well, that's
I
the
think he would. He came off the bench for the Warriors
Well,
in the
here's
last
the
5
thing.
games.
Here's the thing though, is if we could get him to do one thing, like we could get everybody in our four to do their normal thing. They move in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. He can move in and out if he needs to, but stick him on the three and leave him on the three.
Exactly.
We can bump Giddy down and stick him on the three. Let him just leave him open, shoot. He can put up 15.
I mean, if he
29.
does come off the bench, Casey Wallace, Isaiah Joe, Klay Thompson,
possibly the scariest shooting five.
like that's ridiculous off the bench. First of all, because Isaiah Joe, J-Dub, and Casey Wallace were all top 20 and 3-4 percentage. Shout out Casey Wallace and Lindy Waters. We got to meet them on Saturday. That was pretty cool.
Like I feel like just like the Thunder, like Miami, I think I know I bring them up a lot, but they're like one of my favorite things that happened since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like since I got Jimmy, mostly.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I think they need one piece maybe.
And the thing is,
they
I
keep
think,
running up.
and I think that's a team that can revamp Clay's career.
Exactly.
I mean, people would
they're so
people
beyond.
trash Clay over and over again because he had the bad elimination game. That's what I don't like about, like, I'm gonna sound old as shit saying this, but this is what I do not like about this new age of media because it's a hate culture at the end of the day. And like Clay Thompson, 4 rings, potentially a top 5 shooting guard
It
of all
takes so
time.
much to give a good player respect.
He's definitely a top 5 shooter of all time.
Oh yeah, he's
Arguably one of the best two-way players. Like made all defensive teams,
and
has proven to
in
be
the stacked generation, in
Exactly.
the stacked decades, he ran it.
Exactly.
Ran it up.
without Clay, none of those championships get won. You can argue the KD ones, but still, I say without.
Katie wouldn't go there.
Well, no. I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying
Without Clay,
I'm just saying without Clay, you can argue that they could still win with just KD and Steph.
But
But
first, what was it, 3 though?
the first, so 1 was no KD, and then it went KD, and then it went no KD. So, but without Clay in any of those, you can say they don't win any of them, and that's true because without Clay in Game 6 against OKC, they don't win that game because that dude went nuts against us. Holy shit, I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
I don't know who said it, but I can't agree more with it's an NBA player. I can't think of his name, but he said NBA fans just hate the NBA.
No,
That's what like Klay Thompson, Jason Tatum, especially right now. LeBron,
Say
a
Shea.
lot. Shea for
Luka.
sure. Luka, Kyrie. One of those lovable
that's what
players
it's
after
about.
playing bad.
I'm a certified hater. Like, forget Drake's certified lover boy. I'm a certified
He's
hater.
a certified
Like,
hater.
Jokic done showed us he's possibly one of the best bigs of all time. But I think he sucks and is fat. Like, what is he, bro? Like, for the first time ever, I'm getting clips of him working out in the offseason. For the first time ever. Yeah, bro, just casual him out. It's cool. But, like, even I will see people hate and be like, oh, no, they're kind of good, though. Like,
It's just
they're
like,
great.
The best players get the most hate.
but that's how it's always been. But I think
It's terrible.
Well, no. I'm saying like it's always been the better you are, the more people are gonna hate. Like that's been a saying for like years.
Yeah.
Like the higher you are, the more people want to see you fall. But like the narrative from SGA and the whole Thunder team as a whole, from the 10 seed to the 1 seed, has been ridiculous.
It's like I'll hear some haters here and there, but it seems like anybody that talks about OKC, they're just like, yeah, we can do nothing but love that team. They got
No, I'm
experience.
saying the opposite.
You
Like
think-
if you're in NBA comments, they are trashing OKC. They're trashing
I think
SGA.
everybody thinks we suck. I've seen all that. Like the SGA, he
They're
takes
like-
so many free throws.
Yeah, free throw
They're
merchant. They're the worst 1 seed
I've seen a
ever.
lot of that.
J-Dub's not going to be an all-star. Chet's not going to develop. I'm like, are y'all?
But I feel like when you see all the like actual people who know what they're talking about, the people who actually like, not like we know what we're talking about,
Yeah.
but like we get a podcast,
Who
get
are
on
hating.
like like people actually kind of put analytics together. They'll see it. They'll see the Thunder and kind of like just like I can say I will do for the Celtics. And just be like, oh wow, y'all might not be like Celtics wanted this year, so I think, but y'all not might be winning it right now, but The potential there, it's crazy. Like that's
like
so many teams right now. The potential.
Like, look at how people view Jason Tatum coming into the league at 19, just being that guy, a fresh single dad, to now being like basically hating on him for having his son involved. How he shoots the ball. It's weird, but it works.
Well, Jason Tatum had a kid and then won a championship, so.
And people are still hating. No matter what any of the people and players like Tatum, Clay, Curry, any of them, KD, no matter what any of them can do, it's never going to be enough.
I just think
eyes of the
no
fans.
matter what NBA player is at the top of their game, they're gonna get hate. Like Giannis is getting crazy hate this year. Like dude was injured. What do you want him to do? Like
dude, not just that, he was injured and he finally built a shot. So.
Yeah, like Giannis at 26 was an MVP, DPOI, Finals MVP, champion. Like what more do you want from bro? Like literally.
And the switch ups is crazy. Like look at Anthony Edwards. Everyone hopping on dick on Anthony Edwards all until the conference finals, and then he played bad. And then
people meat rided the whole first round because they swept the Suns, right? Don't get me wrong, dude was hooping.
They were good.
He was hooping.
They were doing
but they were acting like he had like a trash team and he was carrying. In their elimination game, they won against the Nuggets in Game 6. He shot 6 for 28.
It was bad.
He shot June 28. I wish Shea could shoot 6 for 28.
I feel like there was.
Shea could shoot 6 for 28 and
win.
It was one of those things where like he got beat. Like how quickly did the Mavericks beat him?
Oh, 6.
Yeah, like it was a pretty good series. Like they got him, and like my thing too is like usually that happens and people start making memes and making fun of people. Anthony Edwards, I feel like just got off on a place.
No, they were meat riding. They're meat riding Anthony Edwards. Like don't get me wrong.
They're like, man,
he
had Cat and Gobert, and I'm like Gobert's won multiple defensive players.
Guess what? He's 22. So don't get me wrong. I'm impressed. He's 22. I'm impressed. But before the playoffs, nobody was saying Ant was a top 5 player in the NBA. Nobody was saying he was even top 8.
And then
you could hardly say nobody was saying he was top 10. Playoffs, they were saying he's the face of the league. Yeah. He's the best player in the NBA.
Is he Michael Jordan's son?
I'm like, hey, I wish Shea could put up less than 20 points a game and not get ridiculed, or put up less than 20 points a game and still win a playoff game.
That, but shoot 28 and not get 28. Like people ridicule Shea for getting 30 off of 28. It's like. Sorry?
Like, Shea will shoot 50% and still get ridiculed and say, it's all of his points, but like maybe 5, a couple
I'm
of
saying people don't realize how good 50% is either. I'm like, it's so much harder than it looks.
50% is
great. Especially whenever you're the main scorer. Like, you're
50% is great.
Tatum shot, I don't even think 40, and he still had 27 and 7.
Yeah. Like,
the hate culture is crazy. The more I think, I'm more eyes open to it now since I talked about on an episode like 2 or 3 ago. Like now that I'm kind of like NBA media, sports media, whatever. Like I see into it so much more. Like I try not to feed into it as much. Like I try not to get mad about it. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like
it's just sports, man. It's just sports.
Like what pisses me off the most is the switch ups.
That's the worst.
It went from Wolves are going to win no matter who they play. They get to the Mavs. Oh, Mavs, best team in the NBA. They're going to beat the Celtics in 6. Celtics beat them in 5. Oh, they played the Mavs. All they have is Luka. Luka has no help.
Well, we talked about this. Narratives do change. Narratives change for a reason because they're narratives.
Well,
it's a story. You can at the time when the Mavericks beat the Timberwolves, Luka, starting from their first round against the Clippers, all the way against OKC and the Timberwolves, they look like the best backcourt in the NBA. That's just facts.
Yeah.
They had
all the momentum.
You get to the finals, Kyrie doesn't show up game 1 or game 2, so it does look, and nobody did besides Luka. So the narrative was Luka had no help in the finals. Like that's a true statement because nobody showed up game 1 or 2.
So that was my thing. Out of all the players too in the finals, like there have been some that have been there. Like I'm pretty sure there was 1 or 2. Like but like Kyrie, he is the guy. You've been there before. You've won one before.
He's put up 42 points in the NBA finals.
He was in the NBA for like 4 years.
He got an MVP. Wait, he got a finals MVP, didn't he?
No. He only has 1 ring. It's like 1 year.
But like either way, he did there. He got 1 great game.
Yep, game 3.
1 game.
Or sorry, game 3. He got 36.
Like you couldn't even give him 2, like half a series.
Part of me, I think if I'm not making excuses for Kyrie or anything. I'm not making excuses about the series. I'm just talking about his career in general. I think if that whole thing with the Nets never happened, to where the vaccination thing, all the I don't want to say the wrong thing.
It got too personal.
Yeah, I don't want to say the wrong thing here.
They destroyed him.
All the anti-Semitism stuff, like, I think that really threw him off.
Yeah.
I mean, think about this. Let's say it's you have a job where you love your job, you make a lot of money, right? Let's say that for half of the year, you can't do your job. You can only do it half of the time. That's going to take a toll on you.
Not just that, it's just like one of those things too where Kyrie had been not even a quiet guy, but at Duke he was a funny guy, mess around with teams.
With LeBron, he was a funny, goofy guy.
He was a good guy, like not anything weird, but like he brought sage without telling everybody else.
Yeah.
He wasn't trying to be like weird to anybody else, but trying to bring something for his personal self. He wouldn't eat before a game, like NBA games, wouldn't eat and drink water.
He was fasting.
Like just a good guy, like.
And like it sucks that that's just the way his career's gone, but
Yeah.
hey. And I actually think I seen this thing. He was supposed to make NBA top 75. There is a video of them in the room talking about it, and they took him off the list because of all the outside stuff. For Dame, they made the list.
That's crazy.
Dame made the list because they took Kyrie off because all his outside stuff going on. Now don't get me wrong, I don't know why the hell Dwight Howard didn't make it. Holy!
No, like that's a whole episode in itself. Like they got some crazy people on there.
I've been saying it for years. Dwight Howard being not on the top 75 is probably one of the biggest snubs I've ever seen in my life.
I think I would argue Dwight Howard over Kyrie, to be honest. I mean, Dwight Howard, he had a run with the Lakers, 3 times, back-to-back DPOY. Should have probably won an MVP, not gonna lie. But, God, that's ridiculous. But did y'all see where him, DeMarcus Cousins, and Quinn Cook are all joining the Taiwan team together?
Yeah.
Yeah, that got announced today. Speaking of
Marcus Cousins been top 75?
no, he doesn't even have a case.
Yes.
He has not. He hasn't done anything. He doesn't have a ring.
I'm a big Boogie hater.
Yeah. You're a hater?
Ever since he threw Marcus Smart.
Oh my gosh.
Boogie revolutionized the game. So.
Boogie was the greatest. He was the best center in the league when he was in the league, when he was in his prime in the games.
Changed it for the shooting bigs.
I love Boogie. The Achilles injury killed his career. That Pelicans team would have been so great with him and AD.
What could have been.
What could have been. But
do you think we're ever going to get the 1v1 between him and Brittany Griner?
I wish. Loser goes back to Russia.
Wow.
Yeah,
Cut that shit.
I was like, leave it.
Leave it.
Brittany Griner's gonna be like, I heard this podcast said something about
I heard this podcast called Foul Line.
I think I'm gonna go beat them squirts.
Them squirts.
They don't know about corrections.
This needs to be cut.
They don't know what I went through in protective custody.
Bro, I saw something she said she used to hang her feet out the bed with no blankets and she was too tall.
That's wicked. Listen, I'm tall as hell, but like I'm getting a bed big enough for me.
Exactly.
Hey, how do you think Katie and them lived? Did they just hang their feet out the bed? No. Nah, but I'm excited for the offseason. There's a lot of guys that we're probably going to see not be on the same team. Kawhi obviously got extended back in January.
Who else? How long do the Clippers got? Their guys.
So BG has a player option this summer. He either can sign with somebody else.
He needs to go to the Heat.
Or he can stay with the Clippers. The Clippers don't want to give him what he wants, which is a max deal.
I wouldn't either.
Nick's he's a Paul George hater.
No, Paul George is good. He's reaching that.
Well, I wouldn't even say a max, but they wouldn't even get him like $10 million under the max.
I'd give him a good piece. I just wouldn't give him a max.
But he's gonna get the max somewhere else. I mean, he's arguably top 5 two-way player of all time.
Charlotte, like I hate saying Charlotte because it sucks.
I just don't think
Charlotte are not a great team to pick up.
I don't think he's gonna want to go to any team like that.
Ooh, line up the Indiana comeback. Line up the Indiana
I can see
comeback.
this is the top 4 teams, like top 5 teams I can see Paul George going to in order. Number 1, Sixers.
I hate it, but yeah.
Number 2, Pacers. Number 3, Miami. Number 4, back to the Clippers. Number 5, I can see him coming back to OKC. And I say this because that is exactly what they need. They need somebody who can be a solid 2 option when J-Dub isn't playing great. They need somebody who can be a solid 3 option and take a back seat when J-Dub is playing great.
It's not a bad idea.
Imagine your top 4 scorers being Shea, Dub, PG, Chet across the board.
Yeah.
And we have 30 million cap space this summer.
All right, so what we do is we will get Westbrook and Paul George this summer.
Yeah, I guarantee you and Westbrook also has a player option this summer. You can go anywhere.
I could actually see Westbrook coming back soon.
James Harden is another free agent this summer.
Man, that sucks for them.
I think if they can get James Harden back, they'll get PG
I was
back.
gonna say, if they get 1 player, I think they're gonna get 2 back and lose 2.
I think, Kawhi's locked in for 2 more years.
See,
He just signed an extension.
yeah, I think they get 1 more.
I think you bring James back, you get PG back. You bring PG back, you get James back. But Russ, I think Russ is 100% out there. Russ,
What's Zubac got?
Zoo's still there for another. I think he has another year on his contract. But the thing with Russ was when he started with the Clippers, all the way up until I would say All-Star break this year, they played him as a point guard off the bench.
Yeah.
And then after All-Star break to the playoffs, he got pushed back into that corner role.
They always do that.
The Lakers did the same thing. He needs to go. I hate to see Russ on a losing team. But at the same time, I want to see Russ play like Russ, or put him on a contending team off the bench where they'll let him be the main point guard.
I can see Russ going to somewhere like I can see him good in somewhere like Chicago.
Yeah, because they're going to need somebody. Alonzo is supposed to be coming back soon. He's been working out, posting a lot of videos.
Yeah.
They're probably going to lose Caruso, but I would love a Russ back in OKC, but that's just not the best. That's not the best option because at that point you're stunning Casey Wallace's growth off the bench because at that point you have to make a decision. Who are you going to play, Casey Wallace or Russ?
Yeah.
Who's going to get more touches, Casey Wallace or Russ? And you run into the problem. There's a lot of issues you run into. I feel like
We're already guard heavy.
Exactly. We're crazy guard heavy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So going into the draft, we talked about the draft before. I don't call it a weak draft. It's just not a solidified number 1 draft. I think you can make a pick 1 through 30, and it's not going to be a bad pick.
I feel like we can get exactly what we need.
OKC has the 12th pick, I believe. My favorite trade I've seen is trading up to the 6th pick for the Spurs and getting Donovan Clingan. I think Donovan Clingan is 100% the best option to go after in the draft because he's 7'2", 285, can shoot anywhere from 0 to 15 feet. It lets Chet space the floor a little more. You don't have to run Chet at the 4. You can run him as a stretch 5 and let Donovan run a bottom 4. And then go get somebody in the offseason with that 30 mil. And the thing is, they can make another trade with all the draft picks and players that we have. We could literally bring in a whole new unit to this team.
That's what I was saying. We got we could keep all of our main guys both first and second lineup.
Yeah.
And bring in 3 All-Stars, low-key. And
based off trades, yeah.
Like this straight up.
The Hawks with the first pick, the Spurs said they're not showing any interest in Trae Young, which I think is a little surprising. But a lot of Spurs fans I've talked to have said they don't want to get Trae Young because they like the idea of drafting a point guard and building. And I was like, no, I can see that. If I'm them, I would draft Rob Dillingham, maybe a Reed Shepherd, a smaller guard, somebody that's an athletic guard that can shoot but also can pass well.
I do see Atlanta trading it.
Yeah, I do. But at the same time, if you draft Sarr, Trae Young you're probably not going to trade Trae Young.
Yeah. Because
Sarr, DeJounte, and Trae would low-key be kind of scary.
It could be great, yeah. I think it'd be cool.
If they can get to the Eastern Conference Finals with John Collins in his prime, I think they can get there. They can make it back again with this team. Another team that has a lot of draft potential this year is the Pacers. I believe they had 2 first-round picks. They have the opportunity to do something good in Indiana. I'm excited for Indiana's future.
It's gonna be good.
Especially if they can pull off getting Paul George in the offseason. Tyrese, PG, Miles Turner, Pascal, that's a dangerous team.
And Obi was playing pretty good in the
Obi
playoffs.
was hooping.
Nembhard was hooping.
And Mathurin didn't play. Mathurin didn't play the whole playoffs. He played the last half of the season.
Yeah.
They have scary. There's something scary getting built over there in Indiana. It reminds me a whole lot of the early 2013, 2014 Pacers.
That's how I feel about just like the young league in general. Like the young guys are just coming in like they were in 2003, or like around those times, just coming in scared, like showing like, hey, this is my league. It's their league now. Like it's just crazy. I don't know.
So,
Let's see.
how do you feel about the Lakers trying to snap Dan Hurley from UConn?
I think it was a good move.
100%. That would have been the best coach they've had since Frank Vogel won it in
I
2020.
think that's what a good office should have done. Try to go.
Oh yeah, I mean he's won back-to-back back-to-back national championships. Exactly. Why would you? He got a bag at UConn.
Yeah,
so
like he's Googling now.
now potentially they're gonna bring in JJ Redick. So I personally have mixed feelings.
That's what
I
I was
want to
gonna say.
know what you feel, and then we'll hear what you feel. How would you feel about JJ Redick? Obviously, obviously we love JJ Redick, but like coaching standpoint, player standpoint, how does that work out?
I feel like it would be good because, I mean, I would rather have someone like JJ Redick who has, you know, right after he retired went to sports analyst, so he still knows the ins and outs of today's basketball. He played in today's version of basketball.
Mm-hmm.
He knows LeBron. He's close with LeBron. I feel like they would not have. I mean, you can never say for sure, but I feel like the locker room conflicts with the coaching staff would be lower. Because, I mean, we saw what that did with the Bucks.
Yeah.
They had a great young coach, locker room conflicts caused them to get rid of him, and they went down.
Doug Rivers and Darvin Ham. Darvin Ham just signed as assistant coach. They're cooked.
But yeah, I think JJ Redick was a good option. He knows ball. He's a younger guy, so he knows how to relate to these younger players. He knows how these younger players play because he analyzes them as his job every single day. I feel like it's a good option for him.
Alright.
I got mixed emotions. It's JJ Redick. He's one of those guys where we saw that he can do his job and do it very well.
One of the best role players.
Yeah, like one of the best role players, and I hate to say it, but role players you want more as coaches and star players 90% of the time.
Their work ethics better.
They're good. I think he's got a good brain, like Wyatt was saying, of today's game. I think he could do it. I think he's really young.
Yeah.
I think, and not anything against him, it's just in the NBA, coaches have notoriously been a little older. But with that, young coaches are starting to cook.
Yeah, I mean, we see, obviously, Joe Mazzulla's won
Yeah,
championship.
Joe Mazzulla,
Mark
Defenders
Reed.
coach, like,
Yeah.
we're starting to get there. But also, what worries me more than even his age is the fact that it seems like it's giving me like AAU team vibes.
Okay, see, that's where
Like,
I'm
it's
going
like,
with it.
hey man, I played against you, you were good, we've talked, like, and also I feel
We're
like
friends outside of this.
we're friends outside of it, and since it's the media age, you can easily get clips of your podcast of you saying good stuff here and there, and this and that, and
Thing
saying
is-
JJ Redick, you got say so to your name.
If he becomes Lakers coach, does he end his podcast with LeBron? Does that cause
That's what I'm about to
conflict?
say, that's what I was like, that's what thing is, if he becomes a coach, I feel like you have to stop the podcast. It's,
So,
it's a professional thing.
That's why I have mixed feelings. It's because he's so close with LeBron.
Yeah, like he's a little too close.
As a locker room
It
presence,
feels like AAU.
if you're not even like, let's take AD out, because AD and LeBron are close. Let's say you're like Ruby or Austin Reeves or Vando, like one of those role guys that knows their place on the team. Like,
Yeah.
what do you do if you have a bad game and you have JJ and LeBron just chatting it up about it?
Well, it's natural. They're both big bald heads. Where after the game, they're like, "Man, so and so should have done this."
Exactly.
Yeah, so and so should have done
So
this.
no matter what, I feel like there's gonna be a lot of bias with
It's
LeBron.
messy. It's very messy.
I feel like Dan Hurley would have been the best option.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of JJ Redick. I love JJ Redick. I love his podcast. He's one of the main reasons I started the podcast. I love his analytics. I think he'd be a great coach, but for a young team.
That's what I was saying.
I think that his relationship with LeBron, it would affect team chemistry heavily.
I think it'll either be through the roof really great, it's
gonna be boom or bust.
And what sucks for JJ is if it pile drives into the ground, it's gonna hurt his legacy so much. Like I would say, like it's not like he wasn't a good player. It's not gonna hurt his legacy and his playing legacy.
It's gonna hurt his chances of becoming another coach later.
It's gonna be oh well, he kind of just joined up with LeBron because they were homies. Like
exactly. Like it's a little ironic that their podcast started and then 2 months later it's like they're already potential head coach, but like yeah.
It's like Jeff Teague hopping in with freaking Pat Bev somewhere. Like it's a little weird.
It's a little fishy. I don't know if there's tampering with coaching, but
that's a good question.
It could be.
Yeah. But like I feel like also LeBron's starting to like, and maybe it's the media.
LeBron and AD are both that age to where they don't give a shit what their coach says.
LeBron's also just getting to the point where I feel like he's starting to take a coach like GM role, like talking to me. I'm gonna talk to my GM and like, but I'm not gonna get to say so. I want him as my coach, so I'm gonna make rumors start. Like,
we've seen LeBron snatch the board in the huddle. Like I feel like you bring JJ Redick. Well, Bill Russell was actually a coach, actually a player coach.
I'm worried about too that JJ Redick's going to come in and play back warmer to LeBron.
Exactly.
And LeBron's going to, for the first time ever, somehow be a playing coach.
He's actually just going to be taking everything LeBron says and just putting it in his scheme. Like that's not the Lakers need. Lakers keep fucking rebuild what they need because they're in the worst situation than the Celtics. They have absolutely no future. They have no draft picks. They waste their draft picks every year.
Trade a few players away.
Lakers or the Suns that don't have a first round pick.
That's the Suns.
Lakers need to put a few players together and send it back to your Atlanta so they can get Sar.
Yeah, get Sar, get Trae Young, something.
Yeah.
They could send a package over of like Rui, Vando, some picks.
What you do with the players? Send over like 4 people and like 8 picks and you're good.
Yeah, the thing is, Lakers, they're not going to fucking do that. Rob Pelinka is one of the worst GMs in the NBA. Yes, you got AD and he got you a ring, but
it don't matter. You should have done a lot more.
I think if you keep that core together, you probably have 2 or 3 rings, right? Maybe I say 2 or 3 rings.
Think about who all they had.
I mean, they traded BI, they traded Josh Hart, Julius Randle was already gone. Lonzo developed into a damn good 3-and-D player.
Yeah.
Like
everything they hated before
he got better at it. Like all they had to do is pick a shot. He really got to New Orleans, picked a shot, and turned into a damn good 3-and-D player.
D'Lo was before then.
D'Lo was before then. Randall was before then.
They just don't like development.
But think about everybody they've had. They've had Zubac. They've had Franz Wagner.
Yeah.
They've had D'Lo. They've had B.I., Josh Hart, Julius Randle, Kim Lonzo. They've had all these guys throughout the years. Jordan Clarkson, Brooke Lopez. They've had all these guys, and they give up way too early.
Yeah.
And you bring D'Lo back, try to make a reunion, and D'Lo crumbles every single year in the playoffs.
He starts off good. He starts off this.
He has the same cycle. He has the same cycle every year. He starts off decent. Trade rumors start. He starts off mid, starts playing bad. Trade rumors start. And then he goes absolutely insane until playoffs start, and then boom, trash.
Like almost got the 40 piece.
He absolutely cooked OKC. Yeah, them shots he was hitting on Jalen Williams, I've never seen shit like that. The way he was hitting them shots.
I think I bet him under that night too.
That was your fault.
It was my fault.
You bet the under.
So you said I know 90% of the time if somebody blows out,
it's probably me.
Under lose. That's all me.
No, but
what is it? 1-800-GAMBLING.
If you're a gambler, you have a gambling issue, call Nick.
Yeah.
He'll get you a parlay.
He'll get you good.
90% of gamblers quit right before they hit big. That's why I never stop.
I like it.
Don't take my advice. But
this is not professional financial advice.
We got the copyright at the bottom. It's really that dude talking like super fast. Like the Fallon does not represent gambling. Fallon does not promote
any losses and wagers that are placed under the foul line.
Use our code on Underdog.
Ooh, Underdog prize thing. Anybody want to sponsor us? Hey, run it up.
Enough of gambling.
It's never enough.
This summer, just like I said with the playoffs, is going to be one of the better ones in recent history.
Oh yeah, for sure. This summer in the offseason is going to be great. A lot of potential moves. Every team can make something happen this summer, so all about if they're going to. I'm super excited to see the extensions, contracts in general. It's going to be a fun offseason. I do want to announce something. I haven't talked with about y'all yet, but I know y'all are going to agree. We're going to push back the 3v3 tournament to the last week of July. instead of the first week. A lot of scheduling issues. I'm not gonna lie, but a lot of scheduling issues with it. Also, renting out the YMCA issues. So we're gonna push it back to the end of July. That gives you more time for teams. We had 7 confirmed teams. We need 8 more to get that, or we need 9 more to get that 16 mark. So we'll be posting the registration link on the Foul Line page. I'll post it in the comments. We'll post it on our stories probably a couple times a week. So keep an eye out for that.
If you're out of state and you're tough and you want to win some money,
Thanks. I think the winnings was $250 or something like that, or $210, somewhere in that area. It's like you get $80 plus your entry fee back, so there's a lot of potential.
And there's a chance if you're a young tough hooker, get your name out there.
Second prize wins probably some gift cards, probably something like that. And we'll probably do an MVP of it, probably get something, we'll figure something out for that. So that's all I got for the 3v3 tournament. Go check out Brandon's channel again. Our video is now up on his channel. That was super fun, but definitely do it again. Go to San Antonio and have a great weekend. Film 2 podcast. Go check out ours with him as well on our channel. And yeah, just thank everybody for the support so far. I know we've been inconsistent lately.
We apologize.
We apologize for the inconsistency. We've noticed the fall off, but we're back on it. Back to weekly drops. A lot of interviews coming soon, so get ready for those. But that's all I got for now. Interviews coming up soon from the NBA Finals, and yeah, can't wait to check out some more stuff this summer. Hopefully Lindy Waters puts another park takeover together. We can all go, get some interviews done, maybe play in it. I regret not playing in it. I should have played, it would have been fun.
Definitely do that.
But
before we go, shout out Al Horford, because he's probably going to retire, on getting your first ring after 17 seasons, and to Derek White for chipping his tooth.
Dude, he looks so ugly.
he's ugly as
He was
shit.
ugly already.
Did you guys see that Jim was mic'd up, and Derek's like, yeah, I chipped my tooth. He goes, boy, you ugly as shit.
He was
Yeah,
bad.
he wasn't lying either. That bald ass head. Him and Jordan Walker have the same head.
And shout out Jordan Wall, getting the ring as a rookie.
Bro, didn't do anything. Shout out Jordan Walsh for being a two-way player and chilling on the bench.
Hey, you got more finals minutes than Joel Embiid has ever got.
Just saying. He did not do anything. But
Yeah,
anyways.
shout out Al Horford, I love you.
Whoa! What did he
I
say?
love you, Al.
Al was my guy.
But
You are my sunshine.
hey, y'all see Al Horford's freaky ass sister on Twitter? She always posted. Somebody was like, who would you rather be with, Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown? She said both. And she got a lot of tweets like that, I ain't gonna lie. But
That's
yeah,
it for the foul line.
we're gonna end on that note. If you go watch Brandon's podcast, if you think differently of us afterwards, because we did say some questionable things,
I got posed by a fire.
probably about Joe Biden. If you watched like the last 5 minutes of that episode, maybe don't. But me and Nick were saying some questionable things.
No, these are facts about society.
We'll call them facts. We're gonna get fact checked. Shh, we're not announcing that on our channel. But to wrap things up, thank everybody for the support. Go subscribe, like, follow us on TikTok, follow us on Instagram. We're gonna start a Twitter page soon. But
It's an X page now.
X page, shit, it's my bad, Elon.
We're gonna get sued.
But for the foul line, I'm Connor. This is Wyatt, and that's Nick. We'll catch y'all next time.